This is Vigilante, the hip-hopologist for ReasonForRhymes.com and Your Black World. Right now on the horn, we're honored to have Alvin Sykes. How you doing, Alvin Sykes?
I'm doing great, Brother Vigilante.
All right. For the hip-hop audience and also Your Black World, let people know exactly who you are and what you're doing.
I'm the president of the Emmett Till Justice Campaign. I'm a longtime human rights activist and a certified human rights worker. The organization formed in 2003 along with Emmett Till's mother and Keith Beauchamp and Donald Berger to pursue the reopening and reinvestigation of the Emmett Till case. We were successful at getting the case reopened and reinvestigated, and then we moved forward to pursue the Emmett Till Unsolved Civil Rights Crime Act, which was a law that was passed, and we were successful getting it passed to go in and investigate and pursue cases from 1969 and before that were unsolved civil rights era murders and seek to have them reinvestigated and, if still possible, to prosecute those cases now. And those,
cool.
And that's what's going on now. It's a 10-year law. There are 20 cases remaining that the Justice Department from that era is looking at and investigating now to see if they can find the truth and or be able to prosecute anybody that's still alive.
Wow, man, that's a big bill. Now, briefly, how did that bill? Who signed that bill off to get started?
Well, the president of the United States at the time was George Bush.
Okay.
George Bush signed the bill as president, but the senators that started to get the bill drafted and introduced was Senator Jim Talent here in Missouri, along with Senator Chris Dodd of Connecticut. And the bill was then introduced, and I helped draft a language for it. And it got co-sponsors on the House side was Congressman John Lewis, and on the Republican side was a Republican Senate representative here in Missouri. His name escapes me right now, but they were the ones that introduced the bill. It took us several years to get it passed, reincarnating it in different languages, and finally got the support of the Justice Department on it, and including both President Obama and Vice President Biden were co-sponsors of the bill when they were in the Senate.
Cool.
And then, of course, George Bush signed it after we were able to get Senator Coburn, who had put a hold on the bill. Once he dropped his hold on the bill and became a supporter of the bill, then it was passed unanimously by the Senate, and in the House it was passed 422 to 2.
Wow, shame on the two people that didn't. But that's good to know.
Which was Ron Paul and Representative Westmoreland from Georgia.
Wow. Yeah, Yes, that's okay. It got through. Real quickly, what do you think about, because the work you did, you have had the privilege to actually talk to Emmett Till's mother before she passed, and to think about, like when me and you did something, we got together and, I talked to you about doing the Emmett Till song. We did the Emmett Till song back in 2008.
Right.
Would you ever thought that anybody in their right mind would do a song like Lil Wayne did? Yes.
And the reason that I believe that is because we had Wheeler Parker, who is Reverend Wheeler Parker is the cousin of Emmett Till, who who went down to Mississippi with Emmett Till, and I had him on the radio station, KPRS here,
Okay.
And we were interviewing about the case, and repeatedly young folks was calling in saying, I didn't know Emmett Till was a real person. I just hear him about the song, in the music. And, he was talking to the cousin. I mean, they just didn't believe. They just thought that, this was just mentioned in in music, and not knowing that it was somebody alive that suffered, that went through this. So to me, it was a matter of time before it would happen again. You have the distinction, along with Bob Dylan, are the only ones that have did a song on Emmett Till that did it in the proper way in telling the story, and we certainly commend you for that.
I thank you. I thank you, sir. It's an honor to even talk about it. But me being raised in Georgia, I understand certain things, about it. And I'm actually from Chicago, so I definitely understand it. It was you that inspired me through your daughter, who showed me a Jet magazine issue of you in there, and they're talking about the Emmett Till case. And shame on me for being in Georgia, who heard about it but never knew. So I guess I was one of those ignorant people. Ignorance is not really a bad thing, is that you don't know. And once I found out, it prompted me to want to discover more. And like you said, I saw a lot of people when I go to schools and speak, they didn't know who Emmett Till was until I showed them the picture and stuff like that. So that's why I did the song, and I'm glad that their family was touched by it. And we need to promote more of that than this stupid stuff that Lil Wayne's doing.
Yeah, which is what I'm hoping. That's part of, in my statement coming out, I'm going to be encouraging people all over the country to pull up your song and listen to the song so they can learn what the real story is. And young people need to hear it, and hear it in a way that's acceptable to them. And if they hear it in your way, they'll get a clear picture of what happened.
Yep, and Bob Dylan did a great job too. I heard his song. Yeah, he did a great. He kicked it off.
Right.
And that's the thing, and in the history, a lot of things will happen. You see, he would get a lot of hype. Lil Wayne would get a lot of hype. But to me, the bigger issue is what you're doing now about the Emmett Till Bill 2. That's something more important I don't want that to go under all the stuff that's going on about the song that Lil Wayne is doing, and Emmett Till is on the brain right now to a lot of people. But we wanted to sustain and understand that not only the legacy of Emmett Till, but the things you're doing to keep it going. Can you tell people about the Emmett Till Bill too?
Yes, one of the things that we discovered in pursuing the cases under the original Emmett Till Unsolved Civil Rights Crime Act. One, we realized that 69 was too short of a cutoff date. People that did, in fact, become victimized past 1969. The original date was only selected by Senator Talent. He put that cutoff date, and the reason that he gave for doing it was that he felt that there was that there needed to be a statute that covered the period when there wasn't a law being enforced. And in 1968, there was the Civil Rights Act of 68, which included a hate crime provision for it called Federally Protected Activity Statute. And so he felt that was sufficient to carry forward with those other cases. But that never was in my original thinking. My original thinking was that there was going to become a time when mathematically it would be impossible to prosecute anybody else. That everybody would be dead, whether they were perpetrator or witness. That they would be dead. And so, but there is a need for cold case enforcement on it. And so my original thought was that we would do the Till bill till it got to the point to where it couldn't be done anymore, that this unit would be in the Justice Department and the FBI, and then when the time expired, we would retool it and make it a more permanent function of the law enforcement, just like it is in other cities on the local level, like in Kansas City and other places. They have a cold case unit that looks at a case from the moment that it becomes cold. People think that cold means that it has to be a long time ago. No, cold simply means it's cold when there's no more evidence available, when there's no more witnesses, there's nothing else before them to be able to pursue, then it could become cold. It could become cold in 30 days after it occurred. So there is this need to deal with the civil rights cases in particular that have not been investigated, that the mere fact, and this is why we know this out there, every year there's approximately 5,000 to 6,000 complaints, civil rights complaints, when you include police misconduct and those others, not just the hate crime, with the FBI, the U.S. attorneys, and the Civil Rights Division in Washington. Out of those 5,000 to 6,000, there's only 50 to 75 that make it to court. We know, we know that by just by the numbers, that there are a lot of these cases are not being fully investigated. It's not possible to fully and credibly investigate them, and some of those are just becoming cold. So we wanted to have to go ahead now with Till Bill, instead of waiting for the 10 years to expire, and then since the initial effort is not bringing about as many cases that we thought that it would, that people are dead, becoming dead quicker, that rather than waiting for the 2017 and then restart it, we want to do it now. We want to be able to say, okay, we need to go from 69 backwards to 70 forward, all the way up to now. Any civil rights case in America that is unsolved, that the statute of limitation has not expired, we want that to become a permanent unit in the Justice Department, in the Civil Rights Division, in the FBI, to go after and check and investigate those cases. And so once they become cold, because there's an expertise that comes along with investigating cold cases versus investigating cases that are current right now. It's a skill set that comes with that, and that's what we want to be a permanent part of the criminal justice system, is the cold case unit. And so that's what primarily the the Till Bill 2 will address. It will say any civil rights, unsolved civil rights, murder, period, or crime that statute of limitation has not expired on, and it's cold, that it can be investigated under this unit. Added resources can be brought to bear to assist with those, and to work in conjunction with the state on those that the state could prosecute or use the assistance of the feds in the FBI in prosecuting those cases on the state level. That's the premise of what we're trying to do now, get the bill introduced. The family is excited in support of it. We'll be discussing the strategy more today. And it was even ironic that yesterday there was a whole lot going on Till Bill 2 that I didn't even know about what happened with Lil Wayne until later in the afternoon on it. I was getting all the calls and things from the New York Times and everybody about as well as the effectiveness of the original Till bill.
Wow. See, while everybody, focuses on the fluff, you out here doing the meat and the potatoes, and I think people need to know what's going on with the Till bill too. And I think that the hip hop world, as well as Yo Black world, as well as Boris Watkins, could later do a follow up so we can definitely talk about that bill, because that's something that we need to know about and what's going on and what we can do to help promote that, instead of this promotion of I'm glad hip hop stood up. You got the guy to take the lyrics off the song, but it needs to be more awareness of what's really going on, the significance of Emmett Till beyond 1955, and now in his legacy and the family's legacy and the legacy of what you're doing. I think that we have to be more focused and be more responsible. So the thing I would say, Alvin, we applaud you, and I think that other people that hear this interview.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you there?
Oh, yeah. That's what you call that technology.
Yeah.
That technology. We hopefully, like I said, I know it's still recording, but what I was saying was, we want to, as hip-hop artists, as me being a hip-hop artist, we want to continue letting people know, because what hip-hop true form is speaking the truth and putting things out there and bringing awareness. And I think that people need to know about this Emmett Till bill, so I'm definitely going to do a follow-up on this. But like I say, for Lil Wayne to be as popular as he is, as rich as he is, you would think that he would be more smarter in doing that. And because to me, all this hype is getting on Emmett Till. I hope that the final thing is that we make hip hop more responsible, and now that we know who Emmett Till is again, because of this to me ignorant statement of this young man, that we can focus on the Emmett Till bill too, and focus on Emmett Till's legacy and do something better in the community. And like I say, hopefully Lil Wayne can learn from this and try to change his life. So Alvin, how can people reach you? Go ahead.
In terms of the Lil Wayne matter,
okay.
I hope that, I applaud L.A. Reid in the Epic Records for pulling the song and the lyrics and apologizing to the family, but Lil Wayne himself needs to do that as well. He needs to contact the family. He needs to come out into medicine and educate people. People need to know, especially the younger generation, needs to know who Emmett Till was, needs to know the injustices that occurred during that period. They need to know that it was the young people during most of the civil rights era that were the ones that were on the front line. They were 15, 16, 17 years old that were on the front lines getting hosed down. You even had in Montgomery, Alabama, and I don't want to get off too far off this, but Claudette Colvin. Most people look at Rosa Parks as the one that got the segregation of the buses wiped out. No, it was Claudette Colvin, who was a 15-year-old who 9 months before Rosa Parks refused to get up out of her seat, that she refused to get up out of her seat. And it was the lawsuit involving her and 3 others that actually went to the Supreme Court, and that case, Broder versus Gale, was the one that wiped out the segregation. That was a 15-year-old who did that. So we need to let people know, learn from this here. We don't need to beat everybody down. We need to learn from this and turn it into poison into medicine. So I hope that if Wayne is listening to this show, or anyone who can reach him, he needs to reach out. He needs to apologize to the family, and then more importantly, he needs to reach out to his fans and learn about what happened with Emmett Till and how we can make this world a better place now, and spread that as part of his message. Then the pain from this won't be as bad as it is and has been, particularly for the family in these last few days.
Definitely. And hey, I couldn't have said it better, man. Like I say, man, we got much respect for you, and we'll have you back on whenever you want to talk about anything you want to talk about, Alvin. You've earned the right, man. And I think that the world needs to know, as well as the nation needs to know, the work that you do and give you help. Where can they reach you at, Alvin?
They can either reach me directly by email.
Okay.
At Alvin, ALVIN, Alvin Sykes at hotmail.com.
Okay.
Or they can reach me by phone at 816-260-6396. But as far as a website, if they the one that you had on yesterday, if you go to Mamie Till Mobley Memorial Foundation and communicate to them, they can reach me. Erica Gordon, she is the cousin. She's been standing up for Taylor. She's been standing up for justice and keeping his legacy going. And you can, if you reach her, you can reach me.
Okay. Hey, man, and I see you in the city doing something. I appreciate you coming to the book signing, brother. And we will get together. We would get together, brother. So you be blessed. And this is Vigalantee, the hip-hopologist for readingforrhymes.com and Your Black World. And we are out.